Steven Anderson, Owen Short, and our lead official, the veteran Tony Green, working tonight's game. Vandy in black, Bama in white. Tap controlled by Bediako and Bama, and we are underway from Coleman Coliseum. Bradley gets it, drives to the baseline, cut off. He'll circle back, finding Sears on the right wing. Mark to Chuck, back to Mark, double team, dribbles away from it, gives it off to Bradley. Left side to Clowney, now to Bradley again with a shot clock down to 10 seconds. From the left wing, Bradley will work away from double team to Clowney, top of the arc. It's 6, left corner, Bradley fakes a 3, and he stepped out of bounds. So a turnover by the Tide.
Good defense by Vanderbilt. Alabama wanted to run the pick and roll with Jaden Bradley and Charles Bediako late in the shot clock. Vanderbilt came with a double team, made Bradley give it up, had an open look at 3 with the return pass, gave it up and turned it over. And
Song with the basketball now to the top of the arc. He'll feed it off to Stewart. A bounce pass left wing to Lewis. Lewis looking, top of the arc. No, he's going to go instead to the corner. Stewart spins, shoots, and misses the 3. Rebounded by Bradley. Bama will run. Don't have numbers, doesn't matter. Sears left alone. Left side, 3, too strong. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Such last by Miller and Alabama.
Sears was open, pump faked, didn't seem to be in rhythm, let it go, was a little bit strong with it. Brandon Miller not in bad offensive rebounding position, but unfortunately knocks it out of bounds.
Top of the arc, they'll work it to Ansong, now left side, giving it off to Stewart. Between the rings to Lewis, and now right side to Keefe, and a reach-in foul is going to be called on Bradley, and he knew it. Jaden guilty of his first, team first. 18:50 the time left, opening half. Scoreless game at the moment between Alabama and Vanderbilt. I'll bet you a donut that will change at some point here, probably pretty soon. Top of the circle, they'll work it now with Lewis dribbling to the left wing. He'll change directions, gets inside the arc, stops at the elbow. Right corner, they'll feed it off and then work it back out high again to Lewis. Far side, Stewart driving, tried to get it to Melora Brown. Now go with the touch pass, Lewis, left side 3, and he's right. Got it to go. It's a 3-0 Vandy advantage early. Far corner, Miller for the tie. In and out, no good. Tipped up, no good. And the rebound controlled by Stewart. And here comes Vandy the other way.
Good look by Brandon Miller in the corner. Not well defended. Ball goes in and out. Noah Clowney in pretty good rebounding position, but not able to get the tip to go down.
Stewart off the screen from Melora Brown. Gets into the paint, stops, spins, shoots a fall-away shot, and gets it to go from 10 feet. Vanderbilt has the 5-0 advantage early. We're 2 minutes into this one here in Tuscaloosa. Bama with the basketball. Bediako with it. He will pivot, facing Melora Brown from the left wing. Goes to Miller right side. Calls for Charles for a screen. Gives him one. Drives past the defender. Whips a pass to Sears. Right corner 3. Bottom.
High pick and roll work this time with Brandon Miller going inside. The defensive help came. That meant Mark Sears was all alone in the corner. Brandon found him, and in rhythm, Sears knocks it down.
First bank, first 3 of the game for the Crimson Tide. Here's Vanderbilt on the far wing with Lewis, giving it off to Stewart, splitting defenders. Poked away by Miller, a scramble on the deck, picked up by Sears. Throws it ahead to Bradley, almost lost it, but controls it now. Going left side, he's cut off, gives it back out to Sears. Thought about it, now drives. Gets into the paint, whips a pass, out of bounds. That was a little out of control, just to be kind.
Great effort defensively, but that looked rough from the start. Alabama tried to get it out in transition. Mark Sears to Jaden Bradley, almost turned it over right there. Sears has had a lot of success getting in the paint, finding open shooters, but throws it in between a couple of guys out of bounds, and Vandy gets it back.
Top of the arc, Melora Brown looking for a cutter, nobody there. Takes a dribble, picks it up. Looks to hand it off and does to Lewis. Lewis driving right, playing off the screen. Stops at the elbow, cut off there. Around the horn they go to Keefe now. 10 on the shot clock as they go right side to Ansong. Nice knifing move in the lane, no good. Ball tipped around, fought for, picked up by Melora Brown. Lewis now left of the circle, deep 3, too strong. Long rebound to Bradley, and he'll start the break for Bama in transition. Bradley cut off, trying to drive, tried it again, cut off once more. Still with it, short corner left side, gets into the paint. He will stop, he will shoot it, he'll get fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot a pair.
It's the first time that Alabama ran a pick and roll with Jaden Bradley and Charles Bediako, and the Commodores didn't come with the double team. You see why Jerry Stackhouse wants to play the pick and roll that way, because this time Bradley got the ball inside, took the contact, and gets to the free throw line. That has been a set for Alabama that has been very hard to guard by the defense, and we see early on how Stackhouse wants to play it.
Bradley misses the free throw. Alabama's been a very good free throw shooting team overall on the year, 72% on the season. Looking at conference play, that's at 76% coming into the game. But a miss on the first attempt. Second try upcoming for Bradley. Trying to make it a one-point game, and Jaden can't get that one to go either. He's been very good at the stripe, but missed them both, and it remains a 2-point lead for the Commodores as they'll bring it front court with Paul Lewis. Lewis to Keefe, back to Lewis again. Playing off a screen, Lewis will throw a skip pass far corner Keefe. The lefty three ball is up. It's short, rebounded by Miller, and Brandon will bring it himself. Throwing it ahead now to Sears. Nice look ahead. Bediako running the floor, gets rewarded and ties it at 5.
Beautiful fast break. Brandon Miller looks ahead, finds Mark Sears, never puts it on the deck. Finding an open teammate, Charles Bediako, the 7-footer, runs the floor and gets rewarded.
Keefe gives it off to Melora Brown at the elbow. Dribbles to his right, hands it off Stewart. He'll get into the paint, poked away by Clowney. Dives on the deck, scramble for the ball. Bama comes out with it initially, and now they do save it. Clowney with it front court, throwing it left side. Miller, three, bottom.
Great effort by Alabama defensively. The deflection, getting on the floor for the loose ball. Noah Clowney started it with the deflection. Brandon Miller ends it with a 3.
Bama's lead is 8-5, and you got a foul out high. A little too aggressive there for the Crimson Tide. A whistle on Alabama. 15:23 to go in the opening half as we've come to our first media timeout. We got an 8-5 score here at Coleman Coliseum. Good guys on top here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Play Tom Stipe, Chris Stewart, Bryan, Passink. We are courtside. It's good to be home. For one reason, Roger Hoover is on the Bama bench.
It's good to be back with you guys, and so far a good Alabama huddle, especially closing out that stretch on an 8-0 run. There was a lot of positive energy coming off the floor for all of the Crimson Tide, and right now going over some of the defensive principles that they want to implement coming up in this next stretch, especially with Robbins checking back into the ball game. Liam Robbins about to check back in for Vanderbilt for the first time today. So Bryan, they're trying to make sure they're on the same page, knowing that he will be on the floor.
Yeah, wonder how much time Alabama spent preparing for Liam Robbins. Wasn't expected to play for a couple of weeks, but he's in the lineup. A dangerous player, was averaging almost 18 a game in conference games before he hurt his ankle. The 7-footer can step back and shoot 3, so very different than the other interior players for the Commodores. And essentially, he's not an interior player just because he's a 7-footer. Will step out and shoot the 3. So we see Noah Clowney, the power forward for Alabama, moving to the center position, a more versatile defender that can get out and defend the 3.
Gurley in the ball game along with Rylan Griffin, Javon Quinterly, and also Dom Welch. They join Noah Clowney. I think I said Noah Clowney was on it, but it's Noah Gurley who's in the game. Clowney defending Robbins inside, who gets position, misses the spinning shot, and the rebound is controlled by Clowney. The double Noah look, Gurley and Clowney on the floor for the Crimson Tide. Ball knocked in the air. Gurley giving it off to JQ. Quinterly directing traffic with 18 on the shot clock, and Bama up 8-5. To Gurley on the far wing. He'll go baseline. Got cut off. Nearly lost it. Got it back. Finds Clowney. Top of the arc. 3. Too strong. Rebound fought for. Claimed by Stewart of Vanderbilt. And then we've got a whistle, and we had a blowout. It was a lost shoe on the part of Paul Lewis, and he was able to find it. He will exit the game. Was planning to anyway on a dead ball with Ezra Mannion into the game. And also checking in, Trey Thomas. Saw Thomas a good bit up in Nashville when the two teams met. Mannion will bring it front court for the Doors to Thomas. Now right side to Ansong. Ansong, top of the circle to Robbins. Picks up his dribble, gives it off to Mannion with shot clock under 15. Thomas near side 3, no good. Robbins tips it to himself. Goes in strong, had it blocked from behind. Ball batted around. Here comes Griffin with it for the tie. Rylan gets it front court, drives left, gets cut off. Changes direction, gives it down low. Gurley lays it up, missed it. A wide open look, and now a foul's going to be called on the Commodores, and that's why I guess he missed it.
Well, it's as simple as this. Use your left hand on the left side.
Yep.
I mean, just basic fundamental basketball, and Noah Gurley went with the right hand. I think in his defense, I think he was trying to decide, should I dunk it? Should I lay it up? He ends up laying it up with the right hand, got fouled, and he'll have to earn it at the free throw line.
Boy, a nickel for every time I've been stuck with that choice.
Yes, we're not talking Nerf hoops, Chris Stewart.
A
Can you
nickel
dunk a
for
Nerf
every
goal?
time.
I'm not.
If I got a chair. Depends on whether I'm trying to do it on the doggy door or the regular door. 14-12 the time left here in the opening half. It's a 9-5 Bama advantage. And make it 10-5 as Gurley hits a pair for the Crimson Tide. Here is Charles Bediako in, and Clowney will sit down for Alabama.
Well, we see even though Liam Robbins step out and shoot the three, they went to him down on the low block. Charles Bediako, the better interior defender at the rim.
Magnon's pass over the head of Robbins. Here comes Bama the other way. Driving downhill, Griffin tried to throw it far corner to Gurley. The ball's thrown around, picked up by Welch for Bama. Around the horn, they work it. Left side, Griffin, three, short, and the rebound saved by Gurley on the far side. Spinning, handing it off. Bediako, pump fake, back to Gurley. Griffin says, I'll shoot it. In and out, no good, and the rebound controlled by the Doors.
Great effort by Alabama. Noah Gurley getting on the offensive glass. Couple good looks from Rylan Griffin, who's been shooting it really well from deep.
Robbins posting up against Bediako, shoots it too strong. Rebounded far side Welch, and Bama up 5, runs the other way. Dom to the center of the floor to JQ, fakes a pass, goes between the legs with the dribble, circles back beyond the arc, crosses over again, whips a pass over to Welch. He'll drive and dish. JQ to Griffin, he'll let it fly, bottom.
I love the confidence of Rylan Griffin. Missed 2 open threes on the last possession. No hesitation on the third. Let it fly. JQ with a nice pass. Rylan Griffin knocks it down.
13 minutes remaining first half. Bama enjoying a 13-5 lead. How about a 13-0 run over the last 4.5 minutes? Stewart trying to change that. Flips it into the far corner. They'll work it to the top of the arc once again. Magnon, fall away jumper, no good. Rebound, Robbins throws up a wild shot, no. Rebounded Bediako, and Bama hurrying it ahead with the 8-point lead. JQ trying to play off the screen. Stops, gives it off to Gurley. Nearly lost it, but keeps the dribble alive. Fires it over to Griffin. Back to Gurley now. He'll split defenders, getting to the block, spinning, kicking it out. JQ thought about it. Now he'll drive into the lane. Fall away, off one leg, no good. Ball tipped into the air, fought for, and Robbins claims it for Vanderbilt.
That was not a good shot at all by Javon Quinterly. Natos doesn't love mid-range jumpers, but they better be open if you shoot them. That one was contested and a step back off one leg.
Robbins from 15 short, rebounded by Welch. Nearly got fouled, but controls it anyway for Bama. JQ, right side. On the drive, Gurley gets underneath the basket, throws it in the corner to Griffin. Boy, they are finding him in a hurry, and now a foul's going to be whistled on Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright guilty of the foul, brings us to our second media timeout. We got 11:50 remaining in this first half of action in Tuscaloosa. It's a 13-5 Alabama lead here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Across the way to Roger Hoover on the Bama bench.
Thank you, Tom. Right now, Alabama liking its defense. The Commodores 0 of their last 10 shooting from the floor. 3 turnovers over the last 6 minutes and 14 seconds. And in that time as well, a scoring drought for Vanderbilt as the Crimson Tide had built up a 13-5 lead against Vanderbilt. So again, a lot of positive reinforcement for the players from assistant coach Charlie Henry. And one other note as well, Namari Burnett received some treatment during that last stretch of play from Clark Colter, the athletic trainer. But now he is getting set to enter the game for the first time tonight. That's good to see, Bryan Passink.
Yeah, Namari Burnett, an excellent defender, a guy that can knock down threes, and love what Alabama is doing defensively. Really dialed into the scouting report. We saw Dom Welch come in off the bench. He was guarding Miles Stewart. Stewart, one of the best three-point shooters in the SEC, number 2 in percentage, coming off a 7-made 3 performance against Texas A&M, had 22 points in that game. He wants to shoot it from deep, and Dom Welch did a good job of not going for the pump fake, understanding what Stewart wants to do at the three-point line. And it's one of those little things, being dialed into the scouting report, understanding the guy you're guarding. That's something we didn't see on Saturday against Oklahoma. Here in the early going, Alabama's doing a good job defensively, focusing on the tendencies of the Commodores.
Burnett, Miller, Clowney, Sears, and Bediako, the 5 out there for the Crimson Tide. Mark's got the basketball at the timeline. He's double-teamed, gives it off to Miller. Gives it left side to Clowney, takes a dribble, reverses field, hands it to Brandon. B working off of the screen, goes top of the arc, goes inside the circle, floats now to the right wing. 2-1, let's fly, no good, and the rebound fought for, claimed by Burnett, who lays it up and in for two. Great work by Namari, and we got a player down for Vanderbilt around the free throw line area, extended that elbow area, we call it. See who it is getting up now. That's going to be Jordan Wright, averaging almost 11 points and 4.5 rebounds per game. He was a part of Jerry Stackhouse's first signing class at Vanderbilt 4 years ago. And they're going to review things to see exactly what transpired, Tom Stipe.
And each official review is brought to you by My Eye Doctor, with 20 locations to make your eye appointment more convenient. Eye care and eyewear really are better together at My Eye Doctor. Visit myidr.com to learn more.
We're trying to learn more. I'm not even sure what I'm sure they're checking to see if he got popped in the face or whether it was intentional or not. We are told by Jerry Kelly that Liam Robbins got hit by one of his own teammates. Friendly fire right there, an elbow to the eye. It looks like he may be bleeding, Bryan, and that's a guy who already had an issue. And actually, I don't guess he got, let me back up. Robbins apparently collided with Jordan Wright because both are holding their heads. It was Wright who was down on the ground, and Robbins has already gone to the back tunnel, and Wright's maybe going to head that direction as well. Wow.
Alabama getting on the offensive glass. Namari Burnett checks in, and late shot clock situation. Brandon Miller did a really good job of just getting the ball up on the glass, and Alabama attacking the offensive glass. Namari Burnett able to go up and lay it in. Bama currently on a 15-0 run.
So the Commodores will get it front court to Melora Brown, handing it off to Mannion. Now Thomas left side, they will work it to Colin Smith, who's in for the first time, nearly lost the ball, and it is indeed a tie-up, and the arrow is going to favor the Commodores.
Great defense by Brandon Miller. Got the deflection, tied up the Commodores. Alabama getting after it here early on the defensive end.
And that's why he's possibly the player of the year, because of what he does on both ends of the floor for the Crimson Tide. Brandon Miller, a great job forcing that tie-up. Trey Thomas with the dribble out high for the Doors. Works past a defender, puts up a three, short, long rebound, saved on the wing, and then nearly thrown away. Burnett somehow batted it around and did control it for Bama to Burnett, and now to Miller. Far side, Bama will work it. Back to Namari, three ball, bottom, and that is poetic justice.
Great job by Namari Burnett on the defensive end. It started with the Brandon Miller deflection. Ultimately, Namari Burnett got the steal, had his feet set in the corner. Great ball movement by Alabama and an 18-0 run. But it starts with defense for the Tide.
Melora Brown tried a backdoor cut. Bediako swatted it away. Here comes Bama front court with the basketball. Burnett all alone, three, bottom, back to back, and so is he. Namari Burnett, a bank first three, and Bama leads it 21-5. Man, a little 21-0 run will certainly help the cause over the last 7.5 minutes.
And when you're trying to work your way back, sometimes something simple, just an easy lay-in, the offensive rebound put back early by Namari Burnett. And now the goal looks huge. He's knocked down a couple threes.
Commodores with a shot clock down to 6. Melora Brown needing help, giving it off far side. Mannion, a deep three, no good. Rebound fought for, saved initially by Vandy, and they do control it. To Thomas, a deep three, in and out, no good. Rebound, and Melora Brown, and Bediako is going to be whistled for a foul right there. Charles guilty of personal number 1. And the third team foul on the Crimson Tide. Vandy also guilty of 3 fouls. Malik Dia in the game for the Doors as they work it to Thomas on the inbounds play in the corner, and he knocks down the 3 for their first points in more than 8 minutes. 21-0 run comes to a close as Sears works baseline, gives it off in the corner. Miller, 3 ball, your turn, bottom.
Great job by Mark Sears getting in the lane. The defense had to converge because of his ability to score at the rim, but you can't leave Brandon Miller. The Commodores did, and they paid for it.
And a 6 of 12 from bank first, 3-point range, and a turnover by Vandy. Smith took his eye off the ball. It squirted right through the digits, out of bounds. Bama basketball with 9:03 remaining here in the first half, and a 24-8 Crimson Tide lead.
And when you're playing as hard as Alabama is on the defensive end, all of a sudden the offense starts making uncharacteristic mistakes. That time Vanderbilt just lost it out of bounds.
Miller with the basketball, trying to work away from a double team. He does easily. Gives it off. All alone, Clowney. Three. Next. 27-8 on the 7th bank first three-pointer for the Crimson Tide this half.
They tried to double team Brandon Miller, but you can't when Noah Clowney is wide open.
Thomas misses the three for the Doors. 3 Bama players had hands on the ball, but it went out of bounds, and possession will go back to Vandy.
Vanderbilt had a couple of players chasing around Brandon Miller, understandably so. He's knocking down shots, one of the best players in the country. But that's why Alabama's in the top 5, because you can't put 2 guys on Brandon Miller. He's unselfish. He's got great vision. Found fellow freshman Noah Clowney, who knocked down the 3.
Commodores inbound it, get it onto the wing with Magnon. He will play off of a screen from Alora Brown. Splits defenders, goes down the lane. Tough shot, swat out of there by Brandon Miller, but I think somebody else may have gotten him first. It was Mark Sears who got him on the arm before Miller took his dignity away. And with 8:16 remaining in the opening half, it's a 27-8 Bama lead after the Tide trailed to begin this one 5-0.
Alabama is absolutely getting after it on the defensive end. Love the effort, love the energy. Yes, the Crimson Tide is knocking down shots, but it's starting on the defensive end. And all 5 guys making it very difficult on the Commodores. This is one of the better offensive teams in the SEC, averaging 75 points a game, but they are getting nothing easy. Even these points at the free throw line, not easy to get because not a ton of contact. Brandon Miller had the blocked shot, but Vanderbilt struggling on the offensive end, and that's due to Alabama's defense.
Magnon able to get it to go with 8:14 remaining in this opening half. Bama's lead down to 27-10. Sears trying to work past Magnon and gets fouled a couple of times. That'll be the second personal on Magnon, and it will be team foul number 4 on Vanderbilt. Magnon will sit down, and Lewis will check in to replace him. Bama basketball. Here's Brandon Miller with it, finding Sears right wing. Thought about it, instead gives it off Bediako. All alone the paint, he knew how to finish. Throws it down, and Alabama leads by 19 again.
Nice pass by Mark Sears, and the patience of Charles Bediako. Let a defender go by, set his feet, rose up, and threw it down.
Bediako now with 4 as Lewis has it out high for Vandy. Works inside the arc, backs it out beyond the three-point line. May have gotten away with a double dribble, as he will now hand it off to Thomas, who may have gotten away with a walk. Thomas with the basketball, playing off of a screen, weaving through traffic, goes down the lane. Tough shot around Bediako, no good. Ball fought for. Miller watching. It will get knocked around, picked up by the Doors. They'll work it on the far wing to Thomas, no good. Rebound taken away Bediako, and they'll call him for a foul as he got tangled up with Quentin Malora Brown. Tide fans didn't like the call, but they liked the scoreboard. 7:20 to go first half. 29-10. Alabama leading Vanderbilt on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
For Alabama basketball, Bama is up 19. 29-10 over the Vanderbilt Commodores. 7:20 to go in the first half. Roger Hoover, that's more like it.
That is more like it, and a really positive Alabama huddle once again. Really player-led so far, with everybody congratulating different players on the efforts they've had so far, especially Namari Burnett coming in for the first time in this game, played very well over the last 4 minutes, and that was recognized by all of his teammates. So in the huddle, everyone in a good mood, just hoping to have more max effort coming up over the next 7 minutes and 20 seconds and finish this first half strong, Brian.
Yeah, Alabama shooting a great percentage, 10 for 17, 59% from the field, 7 for 13 from 3. Getting the job done, shooting the ball, but it's starting with great defense. Alabama holding Vanderbilt for 1 for their last 15. Commodores just 3 for 20 overall, 2 for 11 for 18% from the three-point line. Talked about three-point shooting, such a key in defending the Commodores, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the Southeastern Conference, after a game where Alabama gave up close to 70% three-point field goals. You knew that perimeter defense, their entire defense, but perimeter defense specifically, would be a point of emphasis the last couple of days in practice, especially with the opponent that's coming into Coleman Coliseum tonight. And Alabama has gotten after it on that end of the floor, and that has sparked their offense.
Out of the timeout, Rylan Griffin will join Brandon Miller, Noah Gurley, Jaden Bradley, Javon Quinterly on the floor for the Crimson Tide. Vanderbilt will inbound it from the baseline to the left of their own bucket. Looking to get in. They just beat the count with Lewis, finding Malik Dia in the far corner. He'll drive to the elbow. He'll go to the baseline. He'll shoot a fall away and miss the world. Here's Bama the other way after the air ball. Miller kicks it on the left wing. Griffin drives into the lane. Nice feed. Gurley lays it up and in for two.
It started with the defense by Gurley. Forced the air ball. Gets rewarded. Running the floor. Rylan Griffin gets in the lane. Takes his time to jump stop. The simple pass. Fundamental basketball by Alabama.
21-point lead for the Crimson Tide. Their biggest of this opening half of play. Vanderbilt with the ball out high. It's Wright trying to drive against Miller. Backing his way down, gets into the paint, needs help. Spinning, kicking it out to Shelby. Shelby will drive to the right corner, gives it back out to Wright. Fakes a three, works left, throws up a wild shot at two. It's another air ball. Back-to-back air balls forced by the Bama D. JQ on the far wing. Tide looking to build on the 21-point lead. Quinterly to Gurley, all alone, three. Missed it this time. Rebound tipped out, and it will be Vanderbilt basketball. Boy, the looks are all good ones, Bryan, as the Tide falls now to 7 of 14 from bank first three-point range.
Yeah, and more importantly, Vanderbilt's 1 for 8. Their last 18, and the last 2 have been air balls. Alabama dominant on the defensive end.
Commodores work it onto the right wing. Getting it to Shelby. Back out high. They'll go with it to Wright. A deep three from dead on. No good. And the rebound controlled by Gurley. Noah will give it off to Griffin. Rylan trying to shake free from a defender. Still with the dribble alive. Picks it up. Gives it back out to Bradley. JB with it. Working against the defender. Gets a screen. Plays left side. Bump. No whistle. Steps through. Gives it off to Griffin. All alone. Shoot it, young man. He does. Missed it this time. And the rebound is batted around and controlled by Vanderbilt.
He was all alone, but it was also 27 feet away. But I agree with you. He should have shot it.
Details. Here's Dia with the basketball, working against Gurley. Had it knocked off his leg, out of bounds. Great defense, Noah Gurley, forcing a Vanderbilt turnover.
Great job defensively on multiple possessions by Noah Gurley. Able to move his feet, slap the ball out of bounds off the Commodores. Bama gets it back. One thing to keep in mind, Alabama's rolling, playing great on both ends of the floor. But Vanderbilt, a team that has come back from big deficits against Alabama. They won the game in the SEC tournament after being down 15. And in Nashville was down 23, came back and made it a 2-possession game late. So Vanderbilt will not go away.
Bama throws it away. A pick and roll without a roll right there results in a turnover by the Tide. Vanderbilt going into the far corner with it to Stewart. Stewart working against Miller, trying to get free from him. Can't. Feeds it to Shelby now on the near wing. Back in the corner, Stewart driving baseline, kicks it back out to Dia. He's left alone, and we understand why. Another air ball shot by Vandy. Bama the other way in a hurry. On the step through, Bradley, tough shot off the glass. No, but he gets fouled. He'll shoot free throws with 4:37 remaining here in the first half of play.
Brandon Miller's talent is obvious. All the things he does on both ends of the floor, but he also does the little things so well. Got the rebound and a beautiful outlet pass to Jaden Bradley, and that was not an easy pass to connect on, but the vision to find Jaden Bradley is the reason he's at the free throw line right now. Led him, he was able to take the ball to the basket, take the contact, almost had the three-point play go down. It was a tough shot, but he took a ton of contact, but that was set up by a beautiful pass from Brandon Miller.
Jaden Bradley going to the stripe. He missed 2 free throws early. It was 5-3 at the time. He had a chance to tie it up, couldn't do it. Alabama did okay afterwards, though. A 21-0 run before Vandy stopped that momentarily. 32-10 now the score after the first made free throw. They scored 5 points in the first 2 minutes. They've had just 5 more since the 18:04 mark.
but they've had a bunch of air balls, and that is because of Alabama's defense. The defense has been spectacular in this game. It's got to continue the last 4.5 minutes of this half.
Bradley's free throw did everything but fall in. It hung on the rim forever before it fell to the floor. Now Vandy the other way with Bama on top 32-10. Doors working out high. It's Lewis being defended by Bradley. Lewis gives it off to Shelby. Shelby onto the far wing to Ansong. Ansong looking low, nothing there. Out high to Lewis. Shot clock down to 5. Lewis, a deep fall away 3, misses everything. That is 5 consecutive, not consecutive, excuse me, but 5 air balls in the last 8 minutes by Vandy, all forced by great Bama defense, and that one results in a shot clock violation as well.
You know, it's not that Vanderbilt's shooting 12%. That's an incredible defensive stat for Alabama, but several, as you mentioned, have not been close, and it's been because of the defense of the Tide.
Miller trying to shake free from the far wing, can't do it as he's defended well by Ansong. Miller will keep the ball in his hands, though, and then give it off left side to Griffin. He'll bring it out high. He'll dribble right. He'll throw it back left corner. JQ all alone. 3-ball bottom. That was so pretty.
And Rylan Griffin wanted to take the ball to the basket. Got stopped in the lane. The defense converged. Wasn't the most accurate pass, but the vision to find JQ in the corner, able to knock it down.
25-point first half lead for the Crimson Tide. On the drive right, gets into the lane. Saved the possession by throwing it into the corner to Shelby. His runner in the paint is no good. Great rebound, Gurley. Outlet pass to Miller. Brandon throwing it right side to JB. Back to Miller. Steps into a 3. This one's no good, and the rebound controlled by Vanderbilt. They'll throw it ahead, and the ball's knocked around. Saved by Miller, but controlled by Vandy. They'll get an open layup and drop it in for 2. A weird scramble play there results in Ansong getting the bucket. And with 2:48 to go in the half, Bama leads at 35-12. Top of the arc, Gurley, 3, bottom.
And that was set up by Jaden Bradley. What a move to get in the lane. Able to cross his man over. The defense came over. Noah Gurley playing really well in this game, off the bench on both ends of the floor.
37-12, Alabama. Doors work it into the far corner. Ansong to the top of the arc, right. His 3 is no good. That one grazed the rim, goes out of bounds, and it brings us to our final media timeout of this first half. And what a first half it's been for the 4th-ranked team in America. 2:20 to go before intermission. 37-12. Alabama leads Vandy on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
And Roger Hoover, I understand you have a little surprise for us at halftime.
Yes, talking to Coach Oates at halftime will be Merrill Bowles. She has been on our staff with the Crimson Tide Sports Network and Crimson Tide Sports Marketing for the last 7 years, most recently as the manager of partnership services. And tomorrow will be her final day with the network. She's returning to her hometown of Huntsville for a new position there. We wish her all the best. She loves Alabama basketball. She loves broadcasting. She may have a future in radio as well. So we're going to get to see her conversation with Nate Oates coming up at halftime. Look forward to hearing that. Merrill's done a terrific job on our staff again for a long time, even going back to her time as a student here at the University of Alabama. So we look forward to Chris getting to hear Merrill talk to Nate Oates coming up at halftime.
You know, I had such high hopes for her. I really have much higher aspirations for her than radio or television. I mean, don't go to broadcasting if you've got talent, for crying out loud.
I'm envious of Merrill. I got to talk to Coach Oates going into halftime in Norman, Oklahoma. Alabama's up 37-12. Vanderbilt's won for their last 22, and Merrill's going to have a nice conversation with Coach.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works out. Top of the arc, Burnett, 3, and Alabama has made 9 of their 18 bank first 3-pointers in this half. Namari Burnett feeling mighty fine. That is his 3rd. He's got 11 points off the bench for Alabama in just 5 minutes of work. Got a feeling that may increase. Here's Lewis looking down low, has it knocked away and stolen. Driving downhill, the shot blocked on the attempt from Dom Welch. Great play by Vanderbilt defensively, but it does go out of bounds, touched last by the Doors.
Nothing easy at all for the Commodores. Alabama flying around defensively. The effort, the intensity, the energy, it starts on the defensive end. Alabama has been spectacular on that end of the floor.
Bama loses the handle. Vandy's going to pick it up. And here come the Doors into the front court. Stewart steps back, shoots a three, missed it, rebound the tip, fought for and claimed by the Crimson Tide. Here's Sears driving, splitting defenders, nearly lost it out of bounds and deflected, they say, by Vandy. Boy, is Mark happy that that's the case. Or did he get overruled? I guess they did. They overruled Owen Short.
That was correct in that it went off Mark Sears, but he got grabbed on the arm as he drove, wanted the foul call, doesn't get it, and a couple of turnovers here the last few possessions by Alabama.
40-12, though. The Crimson Tide leads it with 1:17 to go in the half, and then Vandy loses it out of bounds. Again, they scored 5 points in the first 2 minutes of this ball game. And in the 17 since, they have scored just 7. I just wanted to show off my math skills. I just hope I got it right. I'm shocked if I did. Sears with the basketball, throwing it right side to Miller. Brandon left alone. That's a mistake.
You might want to guard him. Wide open. Vanderbilt doesn't come out, standing right in front of Jerry Stackhouse. He could not be happy about that defensive possession for his Commodores.
Vandy drives it into the paint to right. Couldn't get a shot off. They'll kick it out left side. 3-ball up and good for Paul Lewis. 43-15 now with under a minute to go. It's under 40 seconds. Clowney driving, giving it off to Sears. Mark had it poked away, got it back, finds Miller. Miller back to Sears. His pass was beyond the reach of the Bama guard. It's a turnover by Alabama, and that will be turnover number 7 by Alabama this half, for the 6th, excuse me, by the Tide.
Not much to complain about in this half for Alabama. A little sloppy the last couple possessions.
Vandy basketball, shot clock's dart. They're going to hold it for the final look here, I believe. Thomas going far side, nearly threw it away, but saved by Lewis. They work it around to right at 10, got it center of the floor, hands it back to Thomas at 7. At 6, at 5, Thomas driving downhill, cut off, kicks it to Stewart in the corner. His 3, no good. Half ends, and what a half for Nate Oates, Alabama Crimson Tide. Leading big, 43-15 over the Commodores. Television will get him first, and so we'll talk with you here, BP, for a moment. But what a half for Alabama.
What a half for Alabama. We wondered before the game, would the Tide bounce back after the performance in Norman, Oklahoma? It starts with effort, toughness, defense. Alabama got it done on that end of the floor and was spectacular defensively, making shots on the offensive end. That's a great combination for the number 4 team in the country.
Coach Oates with our Merrill Bowls.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the first half?
I mean, much better effort than Saturday. We got to clean up our rebounding. Other than that, pretty pleased. Our shots are going in. I think when you play hard, your shots drop, and I think guys are losing themselves and playing hard, and their shots are falling.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Merrill. And thank you, Alabama. What a half. Cook's Pest Control and Centricon. They're the unbeatable combination for termite protection, and they bring us Coach Nate Oates at the half. It's 43-15. Tide rolling here at home on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. Same 5 that started the game will start half number 2 for Alabama. Here's Bradley playing off a screen from Bediako. Takes it left side. Gives it back now to Sears. He'll work in the lane. Bediako the flush. Beautiful set play. We've seen it so many times for Alabama in those situations.
Beautiful pass by Mark Sears. Got it up high enough where the only player in the gym that could get it was Charles Bediako. He got up high enough and threw it down.
Lewis will throw it down low to Robbins, who caught it underneath the basket. Spins, got fouled, laid it up and in. And, man, he's been limited coming off the bench. First game back in 2.5, 3 weeks due to injury, and then got popped by one of his teammates inadvertently when they collided in the first half. But he's looked good, even though he doesn't have many numbers to show for it so far.
Well, Alabama went to Charles Bediako when Liam Robbins came in the game. Jerry Stackhouse went to Robbins on the post as opposed to the 3-point line. Alabama countered with Charles Bediako. He's done a really good job with his interior defense.
Robbins missed the free throw, so can't convert the and one, and it's 45-17 Bama. Clowney giving it out to Bradley. Over to Miller, left side. Brandon lets fly from 3. A little short on the attempt, and the rebound's controlled by Emmanuel Ansong for Vanderbilt. They'll bring it front court now with Magnon. Magnon will get it to the elbow. He will hand it off, and the ball's deflected out of bounds, and a nice play by Sears. So give it back to Vandy with 20 to shoot, 18:58 to play. And Bama comfortably on top, 45-17.
Sears has become one of the best perimeter defenders in the SEC. Leads the league in steals. Almost got one right there. Got the deflection and goes back to the doors.
Magnon will hand it off to Lewis. Back left side, they go to Ansong. His three is too strong. Rebound claimed out of the air by Bradley, jumping over everybody to secure that one. Jaden will bring it downhill, kick it right side to Clowney. He'll go baseline. He will feed a pass around to Miller. Over to Sears. Open three, short. Rebound tipped out by Clowney. To Sears again. He'll get into the lane. In the corner, Miller. He'll try one. That one rattles out, no good. Ball tipped and controlled by Robbins for Vanderbilt.
Great effort by Alabama. Got on the offensive glass to kick out, but unfortunately, Brandon Miller's three goes in and out.
Robbins three, dead on, no good. Rebound claimed by Clowney. Outlet pass to Miller, and Brandon will come the other way. Over to Bradley on the far side. He'll try one. And the guy who tries the fewest number of threes is the first one to make one here in the second half.
And probably needs to attempt a few more. His stroke is looking better and better. Alabama out in transition, finding the open man. And Alabama knocks down another three, 11th of the game.
Bank first, getting good value on that sponsorship with another made three as the leader in the paint is good by Magnon. And here comes Bama. The lob, and Miller makes it look easy on the beautiful feed from Jaden Bradley.
Well, like Alabama didn't even want to run, but Brandon Miller so fast got out in front of the defense, and Jaden Bradley found it.
Robbins from 15, able to knock it down. Here comes the Tide the other way, leading 50-21. Far side, they'll give it off, and Miller! Miller once again runs the floor. Alabama looking for the cutter, the unselfish play on the offensive end. Vandy comes the other way, and it wouldn't have mattered what they did. Nobody cared. Not after that dunk from Brandon Miller on the great feed. Jaden Bradley knew the freight train was coming down the tracks, and Lord, was that pretty.
And Jaden Bradley knocked down the three. Couple beautiful lob passes. This time finds Brandon Miller cutting in the lane. And once again, Vanderbilt loses one of the best players, maybe the best player in college basketball. You might want to guard him. Vanderbilt has not done a great job of finding number 24, and Miller throws it down.
Bediako will check out. Noah Gurley comes in to replace him for the Crimson Tide. 52-22. Bama looking rather strong here today in front of the home folks.
A little better.
A little better. Free throw up and good. Another one made by Ansong to make it 52-23. 29-point Bama advantage as the Tide will get it into the front court with Bradley. Working against Magnon. He will drive left. He'll shoot the runner off the glass. It wouldn't go, and the rebound claimed by Robbins, and the outlet pass will go to Magnon, and then ahead onto the far side. They'll work it into the paint. Ansong's leaner hits a lot of iron, but settles through the net, and it's 52-25. Miller will get it front court for Nate Oates' fourth-ranked team. Gives it off to Gurley. Dribbles to his right. Feeds it now to Sears. Steps back. No. Gives it off to Gurley. He'll try a three. Dead on. Bottom. That is the Tide's 12th made three on 24 attempts. And Bank first, thank you so very much.
Alabama with 5 guys capable of knocking down the three on the court right now. They have been on fire on the offensive end.
Magnon missed from the left block. They'll try to save it, but they'll land on the baseline while grabbing the basketball. That was good hustle by Emmanuel Ansong, but not able to secure it for the Doors.
Alabama 12 for 24 from the three-point line. Getting great looks. A lot of that off of dribble penetration. Also the awareness of Vanderbilt getting out to a couple of three-point shooters, but because of the ball movement, making the extra pass, Alabama playing unselfish on the offensive end, finding open shooters, and guys have been knocking them down.
Sears will drive into the lane. He will then throw it away, and Vanderbilt will control it. They'll get it front court with Magnon into the far corner to Stewart. He'll drive baseline, kicks it out somehow to Thomas. Near side three, wide left. Rebound Sears. Bama runs the other way. Mark will get it front court. Mark will get it into the paint. Mark will shoot it, miss it, and he'll go to the line to shoot a pair when we come back to Tuscaloosa. 15:43 is the time left here at Coleman Coliseum. It's the home of the Crimson Tide, and it sure does look like it. 55-25. Bama rolling over Vandy here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
15:43 to play in the ball game. Bama is up huge, 55-25. If my math is correct, that's a 30-pointer, Roger Hoover.
Well, it is, but right now the number in the Alabama huddle is 10 points. That's how much Alabama has given up to Vanderbilt since halftime, and the Commodores only had 15 points in the first half. But they know it's frustrating to see Alabama give up 10 points already, and really effort on defense was the main talking point after he reminded that this Crimson Tide team that we've seen Vanderbilt before score 63 points before in a half against some other teams, already on pace to score 50 in this half. So defensive intensity is really going to be needed down the stretch here, Brian. That's certainly what the focus of this huddle.
Yeah, Alabama needs to play with that type of effort in a consistent way. We've seen that most of the season. Obviously, it didn't happen Saturday in Norman, Oklahoma. But this just isn't about this game. You feel great about where you are, obviously, up 30 with 15:43 to play here in the second half. Yes, Vanderbilt's dangerous. They've overcome big leads. They've overcome big leads against Alabama. Not a 30-point lead, but still, they're a dangerous team. But Alabama wants to play the way that they got to that number 2 ranking, and that is effort, intensity on the defensive end, playing with an edge. We haven't seen that in the last couple of games with consistency. We've seen it here in this game, and he doesn't want that to let up, because that's the kind of thing that can carry over to Saturday's game in Baton Rouge against a dangerous LSU team. An important week for Alabama. Needed to come out and play well, play hard. Alabama's done that so far.
Crimson Tide enjoying the 55-25 advantage with 15:43 to go, and Mark Sears going to the stripe, trying to add to it for the Tide, and he does just that. Hits the free throw. Bama shooting 57% from the field, 57% from the free throw line, and 50% from 3. 2 of those are really good.
Well, if you shoot 57% from the field, 50% from 3, you miss some free throws.
You deal with the other.
Free throws.
That's right. They just give you 1 for those, for crying out loud.
Anybody can make a free throw.
Sears hit them both, and Rylan Griffin.
Shoot 60% from the field, then you don't have to worry about it.
That's right. Rylan Griffin checked in for the Crimson Tide, leading it 57-25. Andy on the drive, gets it inside. Robbins lays it up, got it to go.
Vanderbilt getting much better looks here the first 5 minutes of the second half, and that's what Nate Oates is talking about, getting stops and forcing more difficult shots for the Commodores.
Brandon gives it off to JQ, back to Miller near side, near the timeline actually. Calling for a screen for Bediako, doesn't get it. Whips a pass over to JQ, 1 more to Griffin. Corner ball, 3, hits the glass after it hit the rim, then hit the glass, and then hit the hands of a Vandy player in the rebound. 57-27, Bama. Inside, they'll go to Robbins, and getting his money's worth there was Namari Burnett. Hacked him on the arm, but he had to.
What a great half for Namari Burnett. Coming off the wrist injury, was playing so well before he got hurt in the Houston game. Finished that game with a broken wrist. Ended up having surgery, coming back a couple weeks early, trying to work his way back into form, and he is looking more and more like his old self. 11 first half points, getting the job done defensively. Great to see Namari playing well.
Robbins hits 1 of 2 from the charity stripe, and it's 57-28. Alabama with the ball and the commanding lead. JQ with it, throwing the line. Bediako the flush. He was already way up there, but man,
you almost can't throw it too high for Charles Bediako. And beautiful pass. We've seen several of those by the Alabama guards. This time, Javon Quinterly, high pick and roll, throws it up to Chuck, who throws down another one.
Doors working to the left corner to Ansong, now to Stewart. Stewart trying to drive against Burnett. Gets into the lane, nearly lost it, got it back, nearly threw it away, did throw it away. Brandon Miller with a steal. Stewart commits the foul, and he robbed us all of quite a show because Brandon Miller was going to have a breakaway if he doesn't get fouled by Miles Stewart.
Smart play by Stewart. Alabama had numbers led by Brandon Miller. And one of the other things, there's so many that make Brandon Miller great, but his ability to defensive rebound, get steals, and start the Alabama fast break at 6'9", so dangerous.
Miller, dead on. 3, mercy.
And he can do that too.
Mercy. 62 to 28. Lord, are we shooting it? 13 to 26 from 3, and Miller with a very quiet 16 points. Ansong will hand it off to Thomas. Gives it off right side to Magnon. He will throw it away. Ball's batted around, got into the hands of Robbins, and trying to save it was Alabama's Namari Burnett, and amazed up 62 to 28. How great the effort continues to be from this Alabama team.
That starts in the practice gym, in the film room, and team meetings. Alabama has come out with the right mindset here tonight.
Thomas trying to inbound it. Gets it in the corner. Stewart catch and shoot on the 3, no good. Brandon clears the miss, and he'll bring it ahead. Nice feed. Burnett. Namari feeds it off. Bediako the dunk.
Brandon Miller starts the fast break, the defensive rebound, and the unselfish play. Namari Burnett finding an open teammate for an easy dunk. Magnon
to Stewart. Down low to Robbins. Posting up against Bediako. Whips a pass far side. Ansong gets into the lane. Threw up a wild shot that wouldn't go. A scramble on the deck. Picking it up is going to be Miller, and Brandon's going to get fouled at midcourt.
Oh, man, stop fouling him.
He's going to have another breakaway. He almost had another breakaway.
Alabama had a 3-on, maybe 1 right there. Vanderbilt, again, a smart play, but Bama getting after it defensively. Deflection, steals, leading to open floor opportunities or forcing fouls against Vanderbilt. Crimson Tide getting it done on both ends of the floor here tonight.
Quitterly will inbound it for the Crimson Tide. Side court just to our right. Against the Vandy man-to-man. Gets it in to Rylan Griffin. The freshman will throw it over to Bediako. Bediako will hand it off to Quinterly. JQ will drive, feed it to Miller. Why not? Another bank first 3. He's 5 of 10 from the arc. 14 of 27 from three-point range is Alabama. 67 to 28. Tide leading it with 12:40 to go.
The shots are falling, but it starts with effort and focus, and Alabama has had that throughout this game.
Ball lost by Magnon, but he gets it back. They feed it on the right wing to Keith. Keith will drive and dish. Around the horn they work it to Thomas. His 3 is too strong. Rebound fought for, and Stewart is going to be called for a foul after it was claimed out of the air by Namari Burnett. That'll be his 4th.
Well, this Alabama team, so fun to watch when defense leads to offense. And that has been the case throughout this game. Yes, the shots are falling, but you could see the look in these Alabama players' eyes early on, getting after it defensively. They wanted to redeem themselves and bounce back from what happened in Norman, Oklahoma on Saturday, and they have done that in a big way.
Burnett will bring it ahead for the Crimson Tide. Gets it into the front court, working from the near wing against Keith. Burnett giving it off to JQ between the circles. He says clear out. Miller comes over to screen. JQ will drive and dish. Burnett, corner 3. Another one. 15 of 28 is Alabama from bank first. 3-point range. 70-28 our score. The Tide indeed on a roll here at Coleman Coliseum. To the top of the circle, they'll feed it to Colin Smith. He'll get into the paint. He'll shoot the fall away that misses. Rebound tipped out. Griffin controls, and Bama will run ahead. Griffin going downhill. Griffin to the rim, lays it in for 2 more.
And that's what happens when Javon Quinterly's on one end.
Stolen. Griffin throws it home.
How about Rylan Griffin makes the right play, had a couple of shooters on either side, took it in, gets the steal. Quick 4-0 run for Rylan Griffin.
And then Vandy drives on the other end with Ezra Magnon, and listen to this crowd. Well, the ransom money was paid, and our team that was apparently kidnapped in Norman, Oklahoma, has been returned to us safely and soundly. It is here tonight at Coleman Coliseum. 11:18 to play, 74-28. Pretty good night here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Bama's up 46, 74-28, 11-18 to go in the ball game. Hey, Bama fans, whether you want to sit courtside or score a bird's eye view, StubHub is the best place to grab your Tide tickets. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Crimson Tide. StubHub, be there. Be a really good time, Roger Hoover, to check StubHub for tickets in Baton Rouge. I'd like to see some Crimson in that building, and I'd like to see this all over again.
Yeah, that certainly would be nice, and that was a really positive Crimson Tide huddle. It kind of took a moment for everyone to kind of calm down and kind of get locked back into what, first of all, Charlie Henry was talking about on defense, because there was a great celebration specifically for one player coming back to the bench, and that was Rylan Griffin, specifically for the effort, Bryan, that he showed. That steal, that score, and the inbounds pass, you really can't coach that.
Yeah, great effort by Rylan Griffin and this entire Alabama team. The attention to detail on both ends of the floor, but especially the defensive end, has been terrific from the first possession. Alabama getting out in passing lanes, not taking anything for granted, running the floor on both ends. Rylan Griffin making a great play. Bama had the floor spread. You had Brandon Miller on one end, or on one side, Javon Quinterly on the other. The defense went to the shooters. Rylan Griffin made the right play, scored at the rim, and then hung around, stole the inbounds pass, got the lay-in to go down. Alabama on a 17-1 run, and doing it with defense, and the shots are falling as well. That's a great combination for the Crimson Tide.
Magnon makes both free throws for Vanderbilt, and he will exit the game, replaced by Paul Lewis. 11:18 remaining at 74-30. Alabama with a good night here at home. Front court, Jaden Bradley giving it off to Sears now. Sears to Dom Welch, who's checked in. Now to Bradley at the elbow. He'll face the basket. He will take a dribble and hand it off to Welch. Catch and shoot three. That one's a little short. Hit the front iron, rolled off, and the rebound's controlled by the Doors. Well, if we could get him going too, and I don't just mean for tonight, obviously, when you're in good shape, but he could be a big part of Bama down the stretch as the ball's deflected out of bounds by Bradley. Good hustle, but thankfully didn't take out the scores table and half the people behind it.
Great example of Alabama's effort and focus. You're up by 100, almost, feels like it. And Jaden Bradley out in a passing lane trying to get a steal.
And he gets another one. Brings it towards the rim and throws it down. Jaden Bradley with a flush. It was the same play he almost made on the other side. He did make it here and got the result that he'd hoped for. Bama leads by 46 again.
Continuing to play hard despite being up big. Alabama getting after it on the defensive end. Jaden Bradley almost had the steal. This time got it. Big time play by the freshman.
Lewis, right side, working against Clowney. Goes down the lane, lays it up. Somebody got screened off, and he was able to get free for the layup there in traffic. Lewis with a bucket makes it 76-32, and we've got 10 minutes left to go. Sears front court, trying to drive, gets into the lane, throws it back out. Welch, he'll try another three. That one's no good, and the rebound claimed by Clowney. He gets shoved out of bounds. Everybody all right over there? Looks like it.
Noah Clowney's so hard to block out. He's active on both ends of the floor. Alabama, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the SEC. They haven't had many opportunities in this game because the shots have fallen, but when they've missed, they've gotten them back for the most part.
Foul was on Quentin Malora-Brown. Bama getting it inbounds, and Sears will try a little leaner from 10 feet. Gets fouled on that attempt. They'll whistle that one, I believe, on Trey Thomas. 16 fouls now on Vandy. Two-shot opportunity for Sears, and it comes with 9:43 left to play in the ball game. Bama trailed this one 5-0 and then went on a 21-0 run.
There was a span midway through the first half that Vanderbilt was 1 for 22 from the field with 4 or 5 air balls in that span. The defensive effort by Alabama throughout this game, especially in the first half, to set the tone. Wanted to bounce back. Nate Oates wanted it to start on the defensive end, and he has got to be pleased with his effort tonight.
Pair of free throws good by Mark Sears, who now has 7 in the ball game. Vandy the other way. Lewis, the jumper, no good. Rebound tipped in the air. Fought for. Welch tried to save it. A scramble on the deck. Clowney does so to Welch. Bama getting it front court. Dom to the trailer. Gurley for the flush.
The effort by Alabama up huge, getting on the floor for the loose ball. Several guys diving for it. That started the Bama fast break. Unselfish play by Dom Welch. Noah Gurley running the floor, gets rewarded and throws it down.
48-point Alabama lead as Lewis goes on the drive. The kick into the corner, the 3-ball miss, the rebound Welch, and that's a push on Noah Gurley. That'll be a foul on Gurley, and Vandy will have possession. That's the right call.
It's the right call. I love the fact that he's mad at the call.
I understand. I'm with you.
You're up big, you're dominating, but the mindset that it takes to be upset about losing that possession.
Yep.
And that's why Alabama's up huge in this game.
Fun to watch indeed. Colin Smith will inbound it for the baseline. Gurley checks out for the Tide, and Bediako came in to replace it. Robbins trying to post up on Bediako, had it deflected by Welch. Great job rotating over, knocking the ball out of bounds, but the possession will stay with Vandy. They've got a new player in the game who is not on my roster until now. Graham Calton has checked in, a sophomore. Calton from Charlotte, North Carolina, as the shot is up and good by Robbins to make it 80-34 with 8:40 to go. Sears to Welch. Dom will throw it left side. Clowney for 3. Why not? 16 of 31 is Alabama from 3 in this ball game. And Noah Clowney just moved up the draft charts once again.
He was already up there, but doesn't hurt him.
Doesn't hurt him at all. Vandy nearly lost it out of bounds, and they do with 8:17 left to go in the half. Bama ball again, leading by 49. Here's Bradley front court, giving it off to Sears. Mark on the drive down the lane. Left-handed layup is good, and it is indeed a 51-point lead.
And what a play by Mark Sears. I mean, just, you know, easy left-handed layup over a 7-footer in traffic. Makes it look easy.
Vandy basketball. Magnon kicking it into the corner. They'll throw it into the low post to Robbins. Robbins, the running hook, and Mikan can't get it to go, but the rebound by Calton. They work it around to Lewis. Lewis on the drive, the kick to Magnon. Magnon driving down the lane, stops, spins, shoots, and misses. And the rebound by Clowney. Works it ahead to Bradley, who gets it front court for the Tide. Jaden crossing over. Working off of a screen, takes it right side, whips a pass up top. Clowney 3-ball, too strong. Rebound fought for, and a great job by Bediako finding Bradley near side. Hesitation move, gets into the lane and got bumped, and an offensive foul is going to be called on Jaden Bradley. I think we'll forgive him with 6:59 to go. We pause 10 seconds for station identification here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Bama leads it by 51 with 6:59 to go here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Well, right now in the Crimson Tide huddle, they're also trying to clean some things up. Coach Oates really focusing on the defense right now before he started diagramming some offensive plays, as Alabama is maintaining its intensity. That is one thing that the coaching staff seems to be proud of in the last 4-minute stretch. Bryan, Alabama is still playing really hard on both ends of the floor, especially on the defensive end.
I love the fact that Alabama's trying to win every possession, not looking at the scoreboard. Up huge. Jaden Bradley's getting in passing lanes. Noah Clowney's diving on the floor for loose balls. Noah Gurley's upset that he got called for a foul. These guys are playing to a standard, and that is established in the locker room after the Oklahoma game, getting back to what got Alabama to the #2 ranking. These guys were embarrassed with what happened in Norman, Oklahoma. They wanted to bounce back. It starts with defense and effort and toughness, all the blue-collar things that Nate Oates talks about and preaches to his team. They've gotten away from it a little bit, which happens over the course of a season. There's ups and downs, but this team desperately wanted to get back to their identity, and they've done that in a big way here tonight.
Commodores with Stewart giving it off to Smith. Smith feeding it off to Cowton. He misses short left. Rebound, though, caught underneath by Magnon. He will circle through traffic, then throw it back out to Stewart. Stewart playing off of a screen, defended by Miller, who's locked in like we're tied. Shot up, no good by Stewart, but he is fouled on the play by Namari Burnett. On Namari, that's going to be personal #2.
Namari has played so well in this game, knocking down threes early, getting the job done defensively. And Namari, such a good player on the defensive end, can spot up, shoot threes, has length on the defensive end, can rebound. Great to see him making shots. Important for him to be confident on the offensive end. We know what he could do defensively, but to regain the confidence after breaking his wrist in the Houston game, important for Namari and this team.
Stewart hits a pair of free throws, and it's 85-36. Alabama leading it with 6:25 left in the ball game. Gurley will hand it off to JQ. He'll give it off left side Burnett. Namari will drive baseline, gets cut off at the block, kicks to the middle. Corner three, no. And the rebound controlled by Vandy. And I think we're all shocked.
he missed an open three. Every now and then he looks like he may be human, but we know that's not the case.
Magnon will get an open look around the rim and lay it up and in for 2. And Alabama's lead is down to 85-38 now. On the drive, JQ out high, giving it off to Burnett. He will rise and fire. 3-ball, too strong. Rebounded by Gurley. Noah gives it out to JQ. He'll try one, too strong again. Burnett, you try it. Nope, he's going to give it off to JQ. Fakes a 3, drives, dishes. Miller, your turn. Yeah, that's more like it.
He's not going to miss 2 in a row.
Nope, not tonight.
Alabama with 3 opportunities getting on the glass, couple of offensive rebounds, and you don't need to give Brandon Miller too many chances.
17 of 36 from bank first 3-point range. As inside, Robbins misses the spinning shot. Griffin will throw a lob. Miller will not dunk it and just tease everybody. He'll take it to the corner. He'll feed Barnett. His 3 is no good. Rebound tip controlled by Griffin. Ryland throws it out. Miller's 3 is short, and he knew it. Rebound, foul. That's going to be on Vanderbilt. Alabama's become very human now. They're only 46% from 3-point range, thanks to missing about 6 of their last 7.
And I think they've gotten all but maybe 1 back.
We just put Brandon Miller in bubble wrap and saved him until the next game. He is out with 5:01 to go to a standing ovation.
A 50-point lead with 5 minutes to play is safe enough.
Yeah, 6 of 13 from 3, 22 total points. By the way, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 1 turnover with a block and a steal in 27 minutes. Pretty good stat line for the guy that may be your national player of the year, as Burnett hits the front end of a 1-and-1 for the Crimson Tide.
And he makes it look so easy.
Effortless.
Effortless on the offensive end, so much effort on the defensive end. And that may be the most impressive thing about Brandon Miller. As a young player with the stats he has offensively, He takes a lot of pride in what he does on the defensive end, and he and his teammates brought it here tonight.
Nick Pringle in the game for the Tide as Vandy worked it inside, and Robbins couldn't hang on to the no-look pass from Stewart. I'm glad we didn't have to catch him in the first game, and I'm glad we caught him rusty here in his first game back. Bama with Quinterly now, throwing it back out to Dom Welch. He'll drive and then kick it out. Burnett, left side, 3 ball, short. Rebound tipped, fought for and controlled by Robbins.
Alabama continues to get great looks on the offensive end. Missed a few, but don't mind Amari Burnett letting that one fly.
I think Robbins has got some blood on his jersey. He got popped in the face by his own teammate. They collided in the first half going for a basketball, and he is starting to bleed once again, so they will take him out of the game. 4:27 remains in this one. It's 90-38. Alabama with the lead. Magnon's jumper short, rebound tipped by Welch, and he controls it for the Crimson Tide. Throws it away. Stolen by Magnon, and then Dom almost got it back. But it went out of bounds as he got the deflection. 4:14. Time on the game clock here in the second half, and Alabama enjoying very much so that nice little 52-pointed cushion. Magnon working against JQ. He'll spin. He'll give it off to Malora Brown. His jumper from 15 is good. And he's whittled it down to 50.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It does. Sounds better than down 30, which is what Bama was over the weekend.
We had to bring that up.
Therapist said it was a good idea. Griffin hits a 3, as you heard, thanks to the great work from Tom Stipe, and it's now 93-40 Alabama with 3.5 to go. Magnon on the drive, circles underneath the basket, gives it out to Thomas. Calton now left side to Stewart. Step back, fall away 3, short, rebounded by Welch, poked away from him though, controlled by the Doors. Magnon leaving it for Thomas. His 3 ball is a little off. Fight for the loose ball, knocked out of bounds, touch last by Vandy, and the bench will be cleared when we come back. The Adam Cottrell Show when we return. 3:11 remaining, 93-40. Bama having some fun on a Tuesday night in T-Town on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield. (101-44) your final. Coach Nate Oates with us here courtside. Coach, one heck of an effort from your team. Congratulations.
Yeah, I thought we answered the bell well after that performance Saturday. I mean, we talked about getting back to who we were, playing hard, not worrying about whether your shot's going or not, just playing. I think some guys got back to it. You know, it's good to see Amari make some shots. Really happy for him. He came out ready to go. You know, Clowney hadn't seen a 3 drop in seemed like a month, and good. He got 2 to go. So I think those guys just got back to worrying about playing hard. Everybody, and, you know, offense will take care of itself as long as you're unselfish and we move the ball. You know, we had 29 assists. That obviously helps to make some shots, but I thought guys were moving the ball. We're pretty unselfish. We took care of the rebounding in the second half. That was really the only issue at halftime. So happy for our guys. Good way to bounce back after the win. You know, we're halfway through FCC play. We got tough second half stretch, though, really tough. We got to continue to build off this.
You talked about the effort defensively, but the unselfishness from your team, and you could tell even guys maybe that didn't get as many minutes in the first half, still engaged, still in the ball game, still involved, invested very much in this team.
Yeah, I mean, guys are, I mean, it's hard to distribute these minutes. It's very hard. So, you know, you look at Quinterly tonight, he's played 17 minutes, had 7 assists. So, you know, I thought that was great. Sears played 20 minutes and 8 assists. So I think guys are, you know, making good with their minutes. You know, we just got to get guys continue to play hard, play unselfish, and, you know, different guys need different people to step up, you know. So like Amari had been out a while, it seems like he's getting his groove back a little bit. 16 points in 15 minutes. Pretty efficient night.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Coach, thank you for the time. Congratulations on the
Thanks,
win.
appreciate it. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Coach Nate Oates with us as the Tide wins at 101-44. Tom Stipe.
The best move of the game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line. Old Dominion Freight Line works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support the Crimson Tide. BP, I know it's tough, but can you rack your brain and find the best move of tonight's game?
Well, there were too many. That's the toughest question I've been asked all night long, but love the fact that Alabama had 29 assists on 36 field goals. That's unselfish play. It's knocking down shots. It's spacing. Started with defense, but Alabama shared the ball, knocked down shots, and had a great night when they needed it.
Great night indeed as the Tide rolls. Alabama wins it by 57. The previous largest win in SEC history for the Crimson Tide was 53 back in 1947 against Ole Miss. But this Crimson Tide team wins by 57 here tonight.